Hello students, this is Uma Joshi from LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. So far, we discussed about the basics of communication, in which we talked about verbal and non-verbal communication. And then we talked about the spoken communication, where we discussed public speaking, presentation strategies, group discussions, and interview skills. In our last session, we started with technical writing. In that session, we learned about 5 C's of written communication, namely clarity, completeness, conciseness, consistency, and correctness. This session is in continuation with the chapter on technical writing. We already know that in organizations, communication can be done in 2 different modes, oral and written. Out of these 2 modes of communication, we choose the one which is best suited according to the requirement and the purpose of our communication, and which helps in making our communication effective. In today's session, I will discuss about one such written communication, that is report writing. Reporting is an important task in any organization. We see many reports in our surroundings, like the academic reports, medical reports, scientific reports, and business reports. They provide some facts and observations, progress of some work, completion of work, information about an event of the past, progress of an organization as a whole, efforts made towards a goal, and analysis of a situation. Based on the topic, reports can be short or long, or they can be oral and written. Some reports give only the data or information, while other reports analyzes some information and data, either to solve some problem or give opinions and views. Reports are of 6 different types when we classify on 3 different bases. When we classify them based on purpose, then we have informative reports and analytical reports. Informative reports are those which provides only the data, information, or facts. For example, when you write a report on a particular event, it becomes informative report. But there are some reports in which you provide information or data and you analyze it or give your opinions and views. They are called analytical reports. For example, when you have to prepare a report on why a project failed or why a goal was not achieved, then it can be called as analytical report. Next, if we classify reports based on the frequency of submission, then we have special reports and periodic reports. Special reports are those reports which are submitted only once, based on a specific purpose. For example, if you report on an event, then it becomes a one-time activity, and that is why it is called a special report. On the other hand, when you have to submit a report either daily, weekly, fortnightly, quarterly, half-yearly, or annually, but it is in repetitive fashion, then they are called periodic reports or regular reports. The example of periodic reports are the sales report, which gives the daily sales report about a salesperson, or the performance of different employees in the organization, maybe on a half-yearly basis or an annual basis. And lastly, we have oral and written reports, which is based on mode of communication. Now let us understand objectives of technical reports. Technical reports provide an account of the progress of some work or project. They give a record of some facts observed through scientific experiments or based on some research done. Such reports are used to document the outcomes of the experiments for future reference. Reports are also a record of and act as a proof of efforts made by employees towards a goal, which is then helpful for the organizations in deciding the performance appraisal of employees. Reports document policies which have to be followed in the future. Reports are also used to record and present the progress of an organization within and outside, acting as a guidance for making any decisions. Reports give direction for further actions and decision making. They are also used to analyze a situation or a problem and recommend certain actions so that such problems or the situation are solved. Now, in order that these objectives are fulfilled, one must take care of various aspects. Let us see what are the characteristics that will help us in making the reports effective. First of all, the very important aspect is to keep the audience in mind. While writing a report, one must always keep the audience or the readers in mind. Keeping the audience in mind while writing a report can help you make good decisions about what material to include, how to organize your ideas, and how best to support your argument. It also helps in using appropriate illustrations which are relevant to the audience. Next is the correctness of the information. Each data or information which is provided in a report must be checked for its correctness. Since the reports are used for future reference for some further actions or decisions, it is important to verify the information for its correctness. The report must also contain the information that is relevant to the topic and enough to give clarity and serve the objective. So that is the completeness of the report. You must include each and every information which is relevant to the topic as well as your purpose. The next important characteristic is the clarity. Clear message with unambiguous sentences helps the reader to understand the topic easily. Over and above the completeness and clarity, it is also important that your report has to be concise. Important concepts must be highlighted, avoiding unnecessary words and topics which are not relevant to the topic and the objective. But conciseness should not be achieved at the cost of completeness and clarity. The very important aspect of any report is documentation. Proper documentation must be done by acknowledging the sources of information as it provides value to your report. Technical reports are always based on facts. Every information presented in the report must be based on true facts and not imaginations or assumptions. Finally, every report should have illustrations because illustrations help in clarifying your point. It backs the point to give argument. When illustrations like graphs, tables, diagrams, photographs, etc. are provided, it makes the content clear and also backs it with an argument. So, illustration must be presented in the report. Thus, if we take care of all of these characteristics, we will be able to make an effective report which will then serve as a document for future reference. Now, let us see what are the different formats of reports. There are 4 different formats of reports. Number 1, pre-printed reports. Now, as the name suggests, these reports are printed beforehand. The periodic reports which are meant to be submitted regularly and which are meant for the same data throughout are done in pre-printed form. It is like a form where data is asked for and blanks are given. So the reportee needs to fill up the blanks. The example of a pre-printed report is the travel report that an employee submits to the organization to claim some reimbursement. The second format is the memo format. Any small reports which are submitted within the organization follows the memo format. The third format is the letter format. Again, smaller reports with less information but which are submitted outside the organization, then they are called letter formats. And lastly, we have the manuscript format. Now this format is generally used for long and formal reports. The length of this report runs into several pages. This format consists of 12 to 14 different elements or parts which are written on separate and new pages of the report. Further, these elements are also written in a specific way which follows a particular format. So, if we follow the formats as per the requirement and include all the characteristics of the report, then we will be able to write the reports effectively. To recap, in our today's lecture, we talked about the objectives of reports, the characteristics of reports, and the formats of reports. In our next session, we will be talking about the 4 formats of the report in detail, and in which we will also take some examples so that we can even learn what kind of wordings have to be used in writing these reports. Thank you.